But I'm gonna tell you, bro, being a bodyguard for certain people, the talent will show up to a place for a video shoot. Everything is already laid out. The talent will have no idea that they're in a ritual. Sometimes they change the flooring digitally. When they showed up, they wasn't standing on a pentagram, but when the video come out, they are. I've seen that happen. And then you got some people who, when you show up to the video set, you see a weird lady there, and they offering you help. And I've seen an artist before say, "Listen, y'all offering me this help, but I'm not gonna give up anything for y'all to help me." And they said, "Well, good luck to you, young man." And his album never even came out after that.
So I wanted to do a video on what this man is saying because I had it on my mind this PM, and while I have it on my mind, I wanted to talk about it now. What this man is saying in this video is so correct. People don't realize just how much control Enki, who is Lucifer, and Marduk, who is Satan, have over every aspect of functionality on this planet. It's not just the political system that Enki and Marduk, Lucifer, and Satan have control over. They control the banking system. They control the police force. They control everything, including the entertainment industry, the sports industry. They control it all. So what this man is saying in this video is absolutely correct. I have a family member who is very, very, very well known within the entertainment industry. If I were to tell you their name, you would say, "Wow, you're related to them? That's amazing." And I know for a fact, because they told me, they sign their soul away to get what they have within the industry. And when I say sign your soul away, what I mean is that you are selling your soul to elite people who are affiliated with a cabal that is controlled by Enki, Lucifer, Marduk, Satan within the industry. And when you sell your soul over to these elite people, you are selling over your life that you are currently in and the life that you will have once you cross over to the afterlife. So you are selling yourself over to them. Okay? And when you sell yourself over to them, this is how you get the fame and the fortune. And this is what my family member did. This is why they have the fame and fortune that they have. And they told me they did this, and this is why I don't respect them today. But this is something that does happen within the entertainment industry, and you have people who will say, "Oh, that's bullshit, it doesn't happen." Either they are pretending as if they don't know, or they really don't know because they are just uneducated in the fact that this is a thing. Actors and actresses who are A-list, this is a thing for them. Now, I'm not talking about these actresses and actors who have played on these television shows on cable or who are in these little low-budget indie films. No, I'm talking about the actors and actresses who are on television shows on television, and they're making $1 million an episode, or close to $1 million. I mean, 800,000, 900,000 an episode. Or they're in $1 million films that have made millions at the box office, and they have got millions to be in the film. And they are winning this award and that award, the Golden Globe Award, the Screen Actors Guild Award, the Oscar, the Tony. These actors and actresses, they have that type of success because they have sold themselves to the elite that's affiliated with the cabal within the entertainment industry. And that cabal is controlled by Enki, Lucifer, Marduk, Satan. And the elite, they are the ones that decides who's going to be a star in Hollywood and who's not going to be a star. And so I know that this goes on. There is a very, very much dark side of the entertainment industry. And it's not just the A-list actors and actresses, but it's also the A-list filmmakers, producers, authors, sports players. They're all in on it if they are A-list. And they are propositioned. If you want to go somewhere within the industry, what are you willing to do to get this help to go somewhere within the industry? What are you willing to do? And if you decide that you are not going to tell them or show them what you are willing to do and accept their help, then you will have no career within the entertainment industry. I know this because I was propositioned with this myself. Believe it? Good. Don't believe it? Don't care. It's the truth. I was propositioned myself. Before I wrote the Summerland, and before I was writing little short stories here and there that are or that were unpublished, I tried my hand at trying to break into the mainstream entertainment industry as a filmmaker. I had written this great drama screenplay that I had planned to seek funding for and that I had planned to direct myself. And so I went to begin, planning for the project. I sought out the different actors that I intended to cast once I got the funding. And this one actor I absolutely wanted for the lead role because I saw this actor play the lead role in a film entitled Grave Encounters. Grave Encounters is a horror film that came out some years back, and there's a lead actor in there. He plays the lead paranormal investigator in the film, and he's from Canada. And I thought, you know, um, he's the one I want for the lead role in my story because this guy, I thought, and I still do think, he can act his ass off. I mean, he is phenomenal. I believe he played the role of Lance Preston in the film. And he was, and no doubt still is, a phenomenal actor. And I would even go as far as saying I think he is a far better actor than these actors that we have out here today, the Leonardo DiCaprios, or however his name is pronounced, and the Matt Damons. This guy is a far better actor than those actors because his talent is natural and is human-like. And so I wanted him for the lead role, um, in my screenplay, which would soon be my film once I got the funding for it. So I contacted his agent slash manager, and she was so incredibly nice. And I had a conversation with him, and he was incredibly nice. I mean, just the nicest guy, the nicest guy. And but of course he would be because he's from Canada. Because I hear Canadians are all nice anyway. And so he said, this is a great story. It needs a little tweaking, and so I can give you the name of an editor that I know, and you can get with him and do a little tweaking to the story. But this is a great story, and yeah, I would love to be a part of it if you got the funding. And so I said, okay, if I get the funding, you are the one that I want for this role. And so I got in contact with a few other actors and actresses that I had planned to get for my project if I got it funded. And I created a business proposal, and everything was just ready for me to contact the film financing companies to get funding. And so that was my next step. And so I started reaching out to every film financing company I could find, every single one. And almost all of them, except for one, almost all of them said no, no, no. We don't accept unsolicited material. No, 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 thank you. And I was about to give up because I was like, hey, um, I thought I would get somewhere with this. And so I was about to give up until one day I received a phone call from one of the major film financing companies. And they left a message on my voicemail. And when I heard the voicemail, I almost lost my shit because I said, this is a major company and they are responding back with interest. Holy shit, I'm on my way. And now, mind you, even back then, because this was years ago, even back then, I knew that there was a dark side to the entertainment industry. I knew that the A-list actors, actresses, filmmakers, producers, the reason why they were A-list was because they signed themselves over to get that fame and get that fortune. I knew this. I didn't know as much as I know now today about it, but I knew enough. I knew enough. And because I knew enough, this is why I said when I first started my filmmaking attempt to break into the industry, I said, in none of my films do I want any A-list actors because I knew that all the A-list actors, all the A-list actresses, even the A-list producers, they were all puppets. Because once you sign yourself over to the elite that's connected to the cabal within the industry, you become a puppet. And those who are connected to the puppets, bad things happen to them. They are propositioned with bad things that, if they accept the proposition, can cause them to become puppets and can cause them to be intertwined within the dark side of the industry. And so I didn't want any of that. So I said, when I first started to embark on a career in filmmaking in within the industry, I said, in none of my films do I want any A-list actors. I want actors and actresses that have nothing to do with the puppetry that's connected to the dark side of the industry. So, anyway, I received this call from the only film financing company that responded to my inquiry. And this was a big film financing company based in LA. So I called them back and I talked to this guy. And this guy, he acted like this big hotshot. And he says, well, he called out my first name in full, but I don't like to use my first full name because it's too long and hard to pronounce. So I go by Sasha, but he called me by my first full name. But for this video, I'm going to say P. So he said, P, me and my team, we read your screenplay and we think it's fucking terrific. It is fucking great. This can fucking go somewhere. And then every other word was fucking, 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 or shit or something like that. It was some curse word. And he said, this is fucking terrific. This can be a great goddamn script. It can go somewhere. I mean, I can see this going to the box office. I can see it winning awards. This can make you big. This can be fucking epic. And I mean, it was just filling my head with all of this contrived goodness. And I'm listening to all this and I'm excited. I'm like, oh wow, this is it. This is the break I'm looking for. And he said, the screenplay needs a little bit of tweaking, but that's okay. We can do that. Well, I already knew the screenplay needed tweaking because the actor, I'm going to call him the Grave Encounters actor, he already told me, yeah, the screenplay needs a little tweaking, but I can give you the number to an editor that I know, and they can help with that. But other than that, the story was good. So I knew the screenplay needed a little bit of tweaking. Okay. And but he said, other than that, this is a fucking good story. The story can go somewhere. I mean, I see big fucking things with this story. This is great, and we can give you the financing that you need. This is fucking great. Then he hits me with this. He says, but just one thing needs to change about this whole project. And I'm like, okay, go on. And he says, you're going to have to get rid of such and such actor. And he was referring to the actor who played in Grave Encounters 1 and 2, who I wanted for the lead role. You're going to have to get rid of him. And we want to put a A-list actor in that role. And I'm listening and I'm thinking to myself, is this guy for real, or is he shitting me? And so I say, wait a minute, what did you say? And he says it again. He says, we want you to get rid of such and such actor because we want to put an A-lister in that role. I mean, we can get you Denzel Washington, Matt Damon, me and my team, we can get you that type of actor, and then that can make your film even more of a fucking success. It can be fucking big if you get one of our own, one of the industry's own. And I'm listening and I'm like, one of our own, one of the industry's own? What are you talking about? This actor who I plan to have in the lead role, who is the Grave Encounters actor, he is one of the industry's own. He's an actor just like Matt Damon and Denzel Washington is an actor. So they're all the industry's own. What are you talking about? At the time, I didn't register what he really meant by getting one of our own, one of the industry's own. So I open my mouth and I make a noise as if I'm about to speak. And then he says, the only thing is that you have to get in a room with my team and some other people and these A-list actors, and you have to show them what you're willing to do to get this help, to be a success with this project. If you're willing to show them, this can be fucking epic. And immediately, I know exactly what he was talking about. Getting in a room and showing what I am willing to do. That, in and of itself, is getting in a room with members of the elite and their puppets and selling myself. That's how I would show them what I'm willing to do to be a success with this project. I would have to get in a room and sell myself. And I'd only be able to do it if I got rid of this Grave Encounters actor. And mind you, I'd already talked to this actor. And I told him, if I get the funding, you're going to be in it because no one else can play this role like you can. No one. I knew it from the moment I saw him in Grave Encounters. I said, God damn, this guy can act. I mean, wow. No, he has to play this role. But this guy at this film financing company was saying, ditch him, get one of our A-list puppets. But you can only get the A-list puppet if you get in a room with the A-list puppet or puppets, whichever puppet you decide to go with, and you show these puppets and my team and a few others what you're willing to do in order to be a success with this project. I told this guy, absolutely not. Absolutely not. You can kick rocks. Those were my exact words. And then this guy said, oh, fucking P, come on. Come on, you're asking for $550,000, which was my budget, for this film project. I can get you more than that. I can get you $1 million. And do you know what you can do with a fucking $1 million as a budget? You can go epically fucking big. Why don't you want to do this? And I said, because number one, loyalty. Because I already talked to this Grave Encounters actor. I said the actor's name. I don't want to give his name in this video because I don't have permission to use his name. But I told the guy I had already talked to this Grave Encounters actor, and I already told him that if I got the funding, I was going to have him, and I want to stick with this actor. I don't want an A-lister, because an A-lister is not going to do a phenomenal job with this role like the Grave Encounters actor will do. I don't want an A-lister. And number two, all the A-listers are puppets, sir. I know what goes on the other side of the entertainment industry, the side that the public doesn't know about. I know about it. I don't want them. There's a dark side to the entertainment industry, and it's connected to these A-listers who are puppets. And what did I say that for? Because that's when this guy went off. Oh, you're one of those fucking people. Oh, fucking hell, here we go. Talking like that is going to get you fucking blackballed from the industry. Do you know how fucking insane you sound? There is no other side of the industry. That shit is all conspiracy theory bullshit. I can't even fucking believe you. Oh, he went off. And I guess he thought by him going off, it was going to scare me. But see, I'm a Sagittarius. You're not going to scare me like that. Hell no. Nobody's going to scare me. I am a Sagittarius. We don't scare at all. So he's cursing and he's loud in his voice, and I'm listening to him like, when are you going to get finished so I can tell you again? Hell no. And so finally he gets finished with his rant, and he says, now I'm going to ask you one more fucking time. Are you willing to do this? Are you willing to get in a room and show what you're willing to do to be a success with this fucking film, P? And I tell him again, no. You can offer me 20 million, and the answer will be still no. If I can't do this project with that actor, which I said his name, then I'm not doing it at all, because I am not going to kick this actor to the curb as far as him being my choice to get some A-list puppet who is a puppet because he has sold himself. No. And so there was a long pause. And then after the long pause, the guy said, don't ever call our fucking company again. Click, phone went dead. And so I sit there at my table and I'm thinking how bad I feel. I don't feel bad about the choice I made because I would have done it all over again. I felt bad because of the fact that was the proposition I was offered. And because I said no, this guy didn't want to go any further. That's what I felt bad about. Because, again, I had known about the dark side of the industry, but at the time, it wasn't like it is now with me knowing about the dark side of the industry. At the time, I knew about it, but I was kind of on the fence, like, yeah, okay, maybe, maybe not. Even though my family member had said, yeah, this is exactly what goes on, P. I was like, yeah, maybe, maybe not. But then when it happened to me, when I experienced it, I felt bad because I was like, oh shit, this is real. This is the type of shit that goes down in the industry. And I felt bad. I felt bad that this is the type of shit that goes down in the industry. So I made up some bullshit excuse because I was so disappointed in myself that I didn't land this opportunity with this film financing company. And, I felt bad about that. And so I called the agent of this Grave Encounters actor back, and I gave some bullshit excuse of why I would not be going forward with the film. And but then after a few days, began to really feel I began to really feel good about my decision, because I stood my ground, because what they wanted was for me to get in a room with members of the elite and their puppets, who were all connected to the cabal that is controlled by Lucifer and Satan within the entertainment industry. And they wanted me to sell myself to all of that. And once I did that, that would have been me showing them what I was willing to do to make that project a success. And so I felt good in my decision. I felt good in the fact that I said no. So then I tried to go the crowdfunding route. And I contacted a lot of pledgers that are not puppets. They're not elite, but they are connected to puppets and the elite. I found that out later. Didn't know it at the time when I was contacting them, but I found that out later. But I contacted them to ask them to pledge, and all of them said no. Every single one of them said no. And so then I said, well, maybe if I get a distribution deal or a promise of a deal first and show that on the crowdfunder, maybe that would bring the pledgers in. So I contacted a lot of the distribution companies that some were big time, but even though they were big time, they weren't elite big time. But they knew those who were elite. They knew the puppets. And I contacted them, and I had a solid proposal that I sent to them to seek a promise of distribution, and every single one said no. And I mean, I had a hard time trying to get the film funded through crowdfunding. And so then I contacted my family member, who I said is extremely well known in the industry. And I told him about everything that happened. And he said, oh, well, I understand why that happened. When you turned down their proposition, they started closing the doors in the industry to you. Word went around and all the doors closed. Just like that guy told you, you were blackballed. And this is why no one wants to touch you in the industry. Not distribution companies, not pledgers who are connected to the elite and to the puppets. You are essentially blackballed from the mainstream entertainment industry. And then I began to feel even more good. I began to feel even better, because then I knew I did the right thing. I knew I did the right thing then, because I made the right choice. And so from there, I went on and I started writing short stories here and there that, you know, weren't published, but I just, started getting into that. And then I wrote my first novel, which was The Summerland. And when I wrote The Summerland, I tried to get a literary agent. And I mean, I had a bang up query. I had all of the materials professionally done to send to literary agents. And every single one of them said no. And these were the agencies that have the A-list authors that they are representing. And they all said no. Found out from my family member, of course they said no. Because not only was I blackballed from the mainstream, you know, entertainment industry in regards to films and all of that, but even the book world. All of the big wig literary agencies, they were told, if P, and they gave my full name, S, Sasha, and my last name. Now it's my middle name, and but I'm not telling you what my name is because again, if I give you my middle name, then you'll know exactly who my family member is in Hollywood. And I don't want all that. I don't want all that publicity. I don't want all that. But at the time, I was using my middle name as my last name. At the time, my middle name was Montgomery, and I had another last name, which was the last name I was born with. That's the same last name of my family member in Hollywood. And but so I don't use that my last name now because of, again, I don't want to be associated with my family member in Hollywood because to be honest about it, I don't respect him because he sold himself just to get fame and fortune. That's not something that's respectable to me because I know the things that he has done behind closed doors to get this successful deal and that successful deal. So I don't want to use my last name in my literary career. So what I did was I took my middle name, Montgomery, one of my middle names anyway, Montgomery, and made it my last name. And I left my last name out of my name in the literary career. But back then I was using my last name, my actual last name. And word had got around in the literary world. Um, P, they gave my first name in full, Sasha, last name. If she contacts your agency seeking representation, reject her. Reject her. And word had gotten out in every single aspect of the mainstream entertainment industry, filmmaking, even the music career. And I don't, I had no interest in being a singer, even though I do have quite a voice. But even word had gotten out in the music industry, every aspect of the industry, word had gotten out. If she tries to get into your avenue of the industry, reject her. And I was told from my family member that was because I refused their offer of help, in which their offer of help consisted of me getting in a room and showing what I would be willing to do to get to be a success. So I say all that to say this. You look at these A-list actors, actresses, filmmakers, producers, even the screenwriters, the authors, the singers, the rappers, the sports players, and you're thinking, oh, if I wanted to, all I would have to do is believe in myself and go and seek out, the industry, and I could be that too. But you don't realize what these people have to do to get that level of success. You don't get that level of success without aligning yourself with Enki, Lucifer, with Marduk, Satan. That's how they got that level of success. One of my favorite actresses, and I'm not going to give her name, but one of my favorite actresses, she has played in a plethora of films. And, I love her work so much. And her companion, because they never married, they did a series of films together. One of my favorite films that they did together was with actor Roddy McDowall, and in the 80s. And she's a beautiful actress, but the reason why she is such a successful actress today is because she signed herself over. They all do. They all do. All of these A-listers, they do. And you don't have any idea what they have to continue to do behind closed doors to keep that success. Oh, when they get on the red carpet, they are smiling and they look so happy, but you don't realize They're not happy. They don't like doing what they have to do, but they sign themselves over. They sign themselves over. Um, I will mention this one man here, Bob Dylan. He even said this. He said, "Yeah," he said, you know, I made a deal a long time ago, and I'm holding up my end of the bargain." And everyone knows who he made the deal with, and to this day he is. This man, Bob Dylan, what in his late 70s or 80s, maybe middle 80s. This man wants to sit back and relax for the rest of his days, but he can't. If I'm not mistaken, he's on a never ending tour because he has to continue to be the puppet that he said he would be when he signed himself over. And he is, I've seen him. I've seen him in videos because I've never gone to see him in concert, but I've seen him in videos. This man is tired. And of course, you know what tiredness is. It's a low vibrational energy. And what is that energy doing? It is feeding Enki, Marduk, and the Archons. And so that's one of the main ways he's holding up his end of the bargain. The big way will come after he passes into the afterlife, when they take that soul and they take it to the Summerland, where he will continue to feed Enki and Marduk and the Archons until he gets reincarnated and comes right back down here and continues to feed Enki. So it continues on and on and on. That's what these A-listers sign up for. And people who will say, oh, that's conspiracy. That's not conspiracy. Many actors and actresses and filmmakers and singers, they have all said that this is what goes on in Hollywood. And again, I am not talking about these little indie actors. Like I will say, there's this film called I think it's called Hell House. It's a horror indie film. And I've seen that. I love that film. I think that's one of the most freshest horror films that have come out in a long time. And all the actors in that film, no, they're not A-list. No, they haven't signed anything because they haven't gotten to that level yet. But in Hollywood, you will eventually, well, not in Hollywood, let me scratch that, in the entertainment industry, if you decide to go into the entertainment industry, eventually you're going to come to a level where you are going to be contacted by the elite that are connected to the cabal that is within the industry. And that cabal is controlled by Lucifer and Satan. And they are going to proposition you. And if you take the proposition, you are a puppet of theirs, including Lucifer and Satan's, for all eternity. All eternity. You are never getting out of that. It's like a game. It's blood in, and there is no blood out. You can check out anytime you want, but you can never leave. Now, if you decide to say no to the proposition, you will have no future within the industry. This is why you have a lot of actors and actresses. You see them in one film and you say, I wonder why I only saw them in that one film. You don't see them anything else. Because they were propositioned and they said no. And since they said no, they have no career in the industry other than playing in a little low budget film here, low budget film there, indie film that's not connected to the A-listers and the elite here and there. That's it. That's how the industry goes. And it's not just with the actors and actresses, it's the filmmakers too. Tyler Perry is a puppet. Jordan Peele is a puppet. Quentin Tarantino was damn sure a puppet. He's a puppet. Eli Roth is a puppet. They're puppets. They have signed themselves over to have that amount, because you are not going to have that amount of success if you have not signed yourself over to Lucifer and Satan. And the reason why is because Lucifer and Satan, they have their hands on everything that makes money. Why? Because in order for you to get that money, you're going to have to exhibit loose energy. You have actors and actresses who get on film sets, and before they start, you know, filming with them being in character, they do rituals where they are requesting for evil entities to come inside them and possess them. Did you know that? That actually goes on with these A-listers. And when they are asking these evil entities to come inside them and possess them, all of that is negative, louche energy, which is feeding Enki and Marduk. And by these A-listers doing that, they get money. So this is why Enki and Marduk, Lucifer and Satan, this is why they have their hands on everything that makes money, because everything that makes money is connected to them getting louche energy. Especially money that's the big bucks that these A-listers are making. And yes, they're pretty. I know a lot of actresses, using earthly terms now, black and white, that are very beautiful, very beautiful. But these A-list actors and actresses that are very beautiful, they've all signed their names over. They're puppets. They're puppets. And I will say this, Whitney Houston was a puppet. This is why they took her out. Because Whitney Houston got tired of it. She wanted out. She didn't want to be controlled by Lucifer and Satan. But what she didn't realize is that once you're in, you can never leave. And yeah, they took her out. And she transitioned into the afterlife, but guess where she is? Right up there on the Summerland, awaiting reincarnation. That's exactly where she is. And she's not there by choice. See, when you sign yourself over, once you cross over, you have no more choice. It's not like you can say, well, there's a light, I'm not going into the light. No, you're going to get pulled into the light because you have already agreed to that when you sign yourself over. Your choice is gone. So this is how the industry is. And I have not followed this actor who played in Grave Encounters 1 and 2. I haven't followed his career recently because what happened with that film financing company, that was years ago. So I haven't followed his career recently, but I have not seen him in any of the mainstream films. And I hope to the universe I never do. I hope he never gets that big mainstream role. The reason why is because once he gets that big mainstream role, they're coming for him. They're going to come to him if they haven't already come to him and propositioned him. They probably came and propositioned him before I even contacted him and said, look, actor's name, I'm not going to give his name, look, actor's name, you played in Grave Encounters and we think you did a damn good job, because this actor who played in Grave Encounters, he looks like Keanu Reeves. He really did. When I saw him, I said, he looks like Keanu Reeves a little bit, a lot of it really. And so they probably already came to him before I even contacted him, and he probably told him, look, we saw you in Grave Encounters and we thought you did a damn good job. We want you to go higher as an actor. You can be the next Keanu Reeves. How would you like that? Oh yeah, this is great. Okay, but what do I have to do? Okay, but we want you to get in the room and you're going to tell a team of people, they probably didn't say it in these words, but they use similar words. We want you to get into a room and show a team of people what you're willing to do to go higher. And some way, somehow, something inside him probably told him, no, don't do it. Don't do it, man. Don't do it. And he said, I'm not comfortable with that. Well, we can help you. But if I have to get help that way, no, thank you. And this is probably why he's not in the big mainstream films. Because he said no, he wasn't selling his soul. And I'm so glad. This is why I respect him so, because I truly believe he hasn't sold his soul today, because I have not seen him. Now, I don't know what he does on the indie circuit, but I don't see him in these big mainstream films, and I truly believe it's because he will not sell his soul, and I respect him so much for that. This is why I say put him next to someone like Leonardo DiCaprio. And that Grave Encounters actor can wipe the floor with Leo. You know why? Because when Leo acts, it's not natural acting. Because before that man, no doubt, before that man started performing in his role in front of the camera, rituals was done. Possession rituals were done. And so that acting talent is not coming from Leo. No, it's coming from the possession that's within him. And of course, the possession is nothing more than Lucifer and Satan. Whereas the Grave Encounters actor, when he's acting, that's himself acting. It's natural. And this is why it's more believable than watching Leo. And I love Inception. I think Inception was a damn good film. But no, Leo didn't make a believer out of me at all. In none of his films does Leo make a believer out of me, because I know that that's not him bringing forth that talent. That's satanic talent. That's Luciferian talent. Because when he signed himself over, and he did because Leo is a puppet, he signed his talent away and accepted the talent that comes from Lucifer and Satan. I will end with this. There was a singer. He's no longer alive. He's probably no, there ain't no probably to it. He is up there on the Summerland, named David Crosby. David Crosby was a, you're talking about Anton LaVey. David Crosby was something else. And I know this for a fact. I know it. This is not coming from hearsay. I know this. David Crosby was deep into the Luciferian, deep into the Satanism. All his music was into it. The same thing with Led Zeppelin, Stairway to Heaven. See, people think that these are conspiracies. These people signed their souls over. And by them signing their souls over, everything they do is for the benefit of Lucifer and Satan. And in terms of the music industry, and them being musical artists, their music is for the benefit of Lucifer and Satan. Thus the reason why Lady Gaga's music is all satanic. Doja Cat's music is all satanic. Cardi B, Megan Thee Stallion, all of them. So this is what I wanted to come and say. You have to understand, Lucifer and Satan, who is Enki and Marduk, they don't just have control over, the spiritual aspect of this world, religion. They have control over politics, the banking system, the police force. These police officers who unjustly beat this one and kill this one, Enki and Marduk, Lucifer and Satan are involved in that. That's satanic and Luciferian possession, making that officer, I'm gonna beat that man's ass, I'm gonna kill him. Getting into the minds of that officer or those officers, making them do that. Getting control of those officers. The police force, your governors, your mayors, they're all puppets. That's how they became the governor, the mayor. The council members, that's how they become the council members. It's not from voting. It's because they sold themselves to get those positions, because you can't be in those positions if you are not a part of Lucifer and Satan. It won't happen. The same thing with the authors. As much as I love this one male author, and he's done all these books which is turned into movies, and he's had Ruby D in the movie and all of that, but this author is a big time puppet, up, down, left, right, and all around. I believe the series Stranger Things comes from his creation. Now you know damn well, for them to have a series adapted from his work on television, and it's a widely successful series, and you know that author is getting a cut of the profit from that series, you know damn well he had to sign himself over. That's how he got all of that to be. So understand that, people. Everything on this prison planet that makes money is under the control of Lucifer and Satan. Even these churches, the pastors, the preachers, these pastors and preachers who are the mega pastor and preachers, Joe Osteen, T.D. Jakes, Creflo Dollars, Kenneth Copeland, so many others, Paula White, all of these people, Shirley Caesar, she's a gospel singer. She's the biggest demonic puppet there is. Oh, she is, and she's a scam. All of the Yolanda Adams, Donnie McKirkland, Kirk Franklin, don't even give me stuff. All of these people, they are all puppets. And that's how they, what's that guy who, Jerry Falwell, I think that's the son, but the father was too. Puppets. John Hagee, Pastor John Hagee, Pastor Rod Parsley, Billy Graham, who was a Freemason. All of them were and are puppets. That's how they have the big churches. That's why they have the big amount of tithes. And so you have to understand this. Everything on this prison planet that makes money, I'm talking about big bucks. Lucifer and Satan, Enki and Marduk, they have control over. Even a lot of these YouTubers, Mr. Beast, David Icke, Isabella Green, yes, 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 yes. And I'll do another video. I'll do a video on her one of these days showing how much of a scam she is. All of these big time YouTubers making the big bucks, they've signed themselves over. Because Enki and Marduk, Lucifer and Satan, they saw, oh, wait a minute. Now people are making big time money on YouTube. Let's take control over that. And that's what they started doing. You got big time YouTubers on here, even in the spirituality realm, or spirituality community. And they are making big bucks. They are puppets, because you're not going to make big time money and not be a puppet of Enki and Marduk. They're going to come knocking through their affiliates. And so you have to understand that this is how this prison planet is run. So I say this to make a long story short. If you are interested in being an actor, an actress, a filmmaker, a producer, a singer, an author, do it independently. Don't get involved in these A-list actors, these A-list agents. You don't need an agent. You really, to be honest, if you are wanting to do this independently without selling your soul, you don't need an agent. You don't need it. Have your best friend, your mother, your father, your family member who is well versed with money and business. Have them represent you. You don't need the big time William Morris agencies. You don't need that bullshit. Because once you get involved with those agencies, the proposition is going to come. It's going to come. You don't need to be involved with the big time record labels. Get on YouTube and bring forth your music, and have it behind a paywall if you want to do that with your music. You don't need a literary agent to write and publish a book. I don't have one. And a lot of people have gotten my book. I was surprised when I heard of people all the way over in Turkey having copies of my novel. I've never been to Turkey a day in my damn life, but people over there, they have my novel. They know who I am without a literary agent. So if you are interested in being in one of these sectors of entertainment, do not get involved in these A-list puppetry schemes. In with the elite, because I'm telling you, it looks glamorous, but once you get in there, you're going to see how horrible it is when you have to go to this party and that party, and you have to get on top of that one and this one, and you have to drink this nasty thing and that nasty thing, and eat this nasty thing and eat that nasty thing. When you have to do all types of rituals in order to play in this film and be on this TV show. When you have to eventually give a sacrificial offering to Lucifer and Satan in order to continue your career or to go higher. And it will be a sacrificial offering of someone you love. Why would you want to go through that? And then knowing that after you cross over into the afterlife, you're still not free because they're going to force you. See, they can force you once you sign yourself over to them. They are going to force you to go to the Summerland and go through more dictatorship and suffering before you get reincarnated back down here and do it all over again. No, it's not worth it. It's not worth it, people. I'm telling you. You can still enjoy watching a film or a TV show with actors that are A-list, actresses that are A-list in it. You can still do that. You can still read books. I wouldn't buy a book, but you can still go to the library and get a book that has been written by an A-list author. You can still do that, but you're enjoying the work, but you don't respect the person, because I don't know how you can respect someone who signs themselves up to be in allegiance with Lucifer and Satan. And Lucifer and Satan are the two that are responsible for all the suffering that's going on to men, women, boys, and girls. No, I don't respect anybody like that. No, absolutely not. I have films that are my favorite films, but the actors of those films, I don't respect them because I know the actors of those films are A-list, and I know what they did and what they aligned themselves with to be A-list. So this is what I wanted to say. I thank you all for listening. And again, I do not regret my decision. A lot of times I have sat back and thought, what would have happened if I had said, okay, I'll get in that room? And I know what would have happened. By now, I probably would be on drugs. I probably would be an alcoholic. I probably would have been passed around from man to man to man in the industry. I probably would have a dead mother because I would have given my mother up as a sacrifice and all types of shit. And so I thank the universe every day that my filmmaking career went down the tanker. I thank the universe every day that every literary agent said, nope, we don't want your story. Nope, we don't want your story. Because look what I was able to do without them. My book is in a whole lot of countries, all without them. And so, and I did all that without having to sell myself. So I am every day thankful of me deciding to say no. But I'm telling you, this is how the industry is run. Every single aspect of the industry, even the sports world, these football players, basketball players, golf stars, they've all signed themselves over to have that success. LeBron James, I will mention him. LeBron James, he is a puppet. All of them. But I will say to this Grave Encounters actor, if he happens to come across this video, please don't sign. I know you have a wife, and I don't know if you have 2 children, but I know at the time I last read about you, you have a child. Do not sign. Think about your wife. Think about your family. Don't sign. You are doing absolutely fine without having to sign yourself over. Don't do it, no matter what they offer you. And so, that's why they didn't want him, because either he had already said no, or maybe they felt if they did ask him, he was going to say no. They probably thought, he's never going to agree to that because, no. Maybe they looked at his social media and saw, no, this is a guy of morals. No, he'll never agree to it. So ain't no need you even try to bother with him. This is why they didn't want him. They wanted to put into my project one of their puppets who was already so weak that they decided to say yes long ago, like fools. So, yeah, the dark side of the industry does exist. It is very much real. So, this bodyguard is correct. This is what I wanted to say. Leave your comments below. What do you think about this and about what you have heard this bodyguard say and what I've said about the industry? This Saturday, I will have the full detailed video about additional information regarding transitioning over. I wanted to make sure I have it all before I put the video out there. This is why I didn't do it this past Saturday. But by this Saturday coming up, I will have the full information, because you definitely need to know this additional information. So that will definitely be to you this Saturday. Until then, this is the Afterlife discussion. Thank you for listening. Until next time.